Welcome to today's live stream. We had a successful workshop at the Red Hat Summit that was really great and got a lot of great insight into what to do next for Smart Aquaculture. So I've been making some updates to the models. What we're trying to track, especially in Louisiana right now, in a place called Plaquemines Parish, which is this strip of um, coastal land here along Louisiana, along the Mississippi River, I think, and the Gulf of America, is the fishing docks and fish farms and fish processing plants that are scattered along this long road so that we can start gathering data for how much fishing is going on at all of these locations, as well as fish populations, and track how much fish is caught and where it's taken for processing, and then where it's shipped to restaurants or supermarkets or other places. And if we can bring back the shells from this seafood, for example, shrimp or other shellfish, because we can use the fish waste for net zero waste solutions like fertilizer, like even it can be turned into electronics. So wouldn't that be cool to be able to take this fish waste and actually turn it into computing power through net zero waste and be able to track all that through data? So we need to gather that information. So there is a site in the Plaquemines Parish website that's this Plaquemines Parish assessor, and it has information about fisheries and about docks and things like that. So we can actually query this site and get data about the docks. And so that's what I'm attempting here in the code is importing data about the docks from the Plaquemines Parish website, which is public. So what I've done is in my VS Code for Smart Aquaculture, I've added some variables, Plaquemines Parish API port 443, Plaquemines Parish API SSL true, Plaquemines Parish API hostname is Plaquemines Parish maps.azurewebsites.net, and then put those as Java config keys here in this class. And then in the code, we have an existing method for um, importing fishing dock data. And right now we're in the process of extending it. So I have put in here a method for querying the fishing docks based on the Plaquemines Parish API port, hostname, and SSL. And what it does is some regular expressions to take this search page here, which is in HTML, and do some regular expressions to find each of these rows and gather the ID for this doc and the name and the address. Although I think all we really need is this ID, and then we can query a different API for additional JSON details, although I don't have it pulled up here. That's kind of the next step. But if you see here, if I set a breakpoint and stop this application and start it again, then it's going to start up and then it's going to immediately do an import of these fishing docks and hit this breakpoint in VS Code. So it hit this breakpoint, it says something's found, and if I set another breakpoint inside this while loop. Then it logs the fishing dock data here, Big Rock Dock LLC, and Craddock Walter and Wharves and Docks Co. LLC. So it's able to parse that data. So the next step is to, let's see, I think what we want to do is turn this into a JSON array of items. Whoops. And then we can do items dot add new JSON object. And then dot put, let's see here, fishing dock dot var underscore ID, and then give this the ID, and then let's just do name. I'm not going to worry about the address right now, but I'm going to put those two values in there, and then they'll be part of a JSON array, and then we can do promise.complete and pass it these items. So this is an asynchronous future method that will complete with these items. Otherwise, it'll fail with an exception. And let's see where this is used. Query fishing docks is used here, but I commented out some code here because we're still implementing this. So let me get this working here. For each JSON object that we put into that array, or I'll call it item, we import this result. And let's check out this method. Import result. The class name, simple name, is going to be fishing dock. The API address is specific address within the Java Vertex API. And here's the result that we're passing in. So the body is what's going to be actually imported. So we actually have to do body dot put fishing dock dot var ID and pass it the result dot get string result. Oh no, fishing dock dot var ID. And then we'll also do the name here, but we're going to call a different API to get more information about this dock. So let's go back here and see if I click on something else, and then I do the inspector network, delete these, and then I click on this here. What does it tell me? Delete. What is all this data here? Response. parcel number, query services. Let's see what this API call is all about. Oh. Assess ID 14 01600. What does this one look like? Fields, features. That one, this is the one that returns a 200. What is a 304 response? Not modified. That's odd. Headers. So this seems to return some geolocation data about this thing. That's HTML. That's some tax information. So I guess this is what we want to query next. If we want to do that, we can do a similar query here. So we make a request like this, except this source API URI is going to change to be like this one, copy value, copy URL, and that URL in there, except this is a different API endpoint. Services one, get info. So if I copy this URL and put it into a browser, what does it give me? It gives me this JSON data. Does it tell me? Let's see. No. Where am I? Plaquemines Parish map viewer. Does it tell me the subdivision? Nope. So I don't know a lot about this, but if it tells us the geometry, then we can use this to make a rectangle on the map, except this does not look like coordinates, latitude, longitude. If we look at other ones, like in here, API, log in. Location, then the coordinates are -89 and 29 in this area. So these coordinates are really confusing. And based on some kind of translation in geometry, so that's not actually super helpful because I don't know how to translate this into geolocation coordinates. But there's the idea. I think that's where I'll stop sharing for today. But this is the goal, is be able to import this data automatically, which we are doing. So let me just try this. If I comment out this section for now and just focus on this section, and what I want to see is all of these docs actually imported. So I'm going to clear my screen, clear, and then run this again. Let's see if they actually import. We got an exception. Fish data failed. Already complete. Let me see. Where did I complete? Query fishing docs. Promise one doc complete. Let me make sure I've rebuilt the Smart Aquaculture API. Okay, that's good. And then I think I need better handling for this error somehow because I'm not entirely sure where it actually failed. Oh, entity short ID. Fishing doc, fishing doc.java entity short ID. Oh, this doesn't have all the fields I was expecting. Fish processing.java. What does this have? Dress color, map model. Wait. Fishing doc, map model, go to definition. This has the entity short ID, which based on the ID, based on the name, Let me think. Um, want the name of this doc to be based on both the ID and the name coming from this API. Let's see. Run Smart Aquaculture. Result already complete. Let me see what's going on at this point. Entity short ID null. Put import fishing dock feature entity short ID. So yeah, I think I know what the problem is. So let me do fishing dock here. We're going to turn this into the entity short ID. That's going to be the name. Entity short ID. It's going to be that. Stop, re-import, clear, clear. Okay, I think it did it. Then we come back here and go to here, go to fishing docks, and now we have 17 fishing docks. Yay. We don't have their exact geolocation. I'm sure this isn't right. This is probably a default value, but it puts something in, and we're going to have to work on getting this to be the right location, but at least as a start, it was able to import it by name. And the entity entity short ID was Clearbrook Fisheries Inc. Entity short ID. I think I'm going to change that, but it's a good start. You're able to import them. So there we go. An example of how to integrate fishing docks from a different API into Smart Aquaculture. Thanks for watching.